Hello and welcome back to MotoGP 23, and today we're here starting our career mode. Now I did leave a community post a while ago asking you guys what you wanted me to do in MotoGP 23, and the majority of you said you wanted me to do all the categories. So that's what we're doing. As we usually do with every game, we are going to go through, which is going to be pretty exciting because the career mode is supposed to be completely different this year. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So I've customised my rider, not quite gone with the normal number 72 because this year I'm trying to be a bit more realistic, so I've only gone with numbers that are available, so I've actually gone for a 73. It's also not very well designed, but there you go, I'm not very good with the graphics editors. So we've got debut season here, compete in the final races of the Moto3 to prove your value and win yourself a saddle. Are you fast enough to race in MotoGP? Define your career. Your Moto3 career is marked by key moments that will define your season. Placings, podiums and victories will allow you to change your experience in the World Championship, even radically. Status and reputation. Every placing will contribute to making yourself known inside the paddock. If you want to race for the most prestigious teams, increase your status and fulfill the team objectives. The dream bike. During the market window, you can express your World Championship motorbike and team preferences. But remember, you will have to convince them on and off the track that you are the right choice for their ambitions. Continuously evolving. Your rivals' abilities evolve gradually within each season, carrying forward your story in the World Championship. So the AI might actually get better over the different seasons. That's quite interesting. New roads. At the end of your debut season, you can decide whether to continue your career or start a new one in Moto3, Moto2 or MotoGP. Okay, so that's quite interesting. So let's continue here. Rising star, finish in front of Ryusei Yamanaka in the standings within 2 GPs, Malaysia and Qatar. The attention of everyone in the paddock is focused on the latest Moto3 races, where B-Biker has the chance to win an important contract. So interestingly enough, we've been thrust into the Vision Track Academy team by the looks of it. I didn't actually select the team. I had that team when I was previewing my number in the editor, but I didn't actually pick the team, so I don't know whether it's done off the back of that, or will always be in the Vision Track team. I'm not too sure, but we've got a message here, so go to feed. Ryusei Yamanaka, we're at the last races of the season, and in spite of a good debut, I don't think that B-Biker has any chance of finishing in front of me. The standings are clear, and it won't be easy to change results. Well, Yamanaka, I disagree with that one a little bit, and this is the first chance we're going to get to respond on the social media. So I'm going to respond, what can we do? So we can say, I always aim to do better. I hope I'll manage to convince the paddock to award me a contract for next season. That seems to be a mutual one by the looks of it. And the challenges don't frighten me. I'm here to win, stay in the World Championship and make history. I think I'll go with the courteous one for now, just to try, keep things cordial. I'd rather not get knocked off by Yamanaka in my first race of the career mode. So let's go to the Grand Prix. It is Malaysia, probably my favourite track on the calendar, so it's probably the best place to start our career mode. So here we are then in Malaysia, straight into free practice one, or practice one I suppose, as it is now known. And it does seem that we are inside of the Vision Track team. It makes sense for me because of course I'm British. I do wonder whether it is based on your nationality, or whether it is purely random, or whether it is just the fact that I was looking at them previously when I was in the editor. I wanted to see what my number looked like because I was going to pick this team, to be honest, if I was given the choice, but it seems like I wasn't given the choice. We'll go on to game experience just to make sure everything is correct. It does seem all right, so we may as well head straight onto the track because of course, I'm going to need to do a little bit of practice to get used to this Moto3 bike. Well, I've just noticed that in the pit box, there's like little RW racing stickers. I don't know if that's something in real life. I don't believe it is. Like, as far as I'm aware, I didn't realise there was any kind of crossover between the RW team and the Vision Track Academy team. I'm not too sure. Also just noticed that we've come out the pits. We've actually got a hard rear on here, so I didn't pick this. I didn't pick a hard rear tyre, but it does seem we've been put on one. I'm going to go down to Power Mode 2. Because I did all my running on Power Mode 3 earlier, and that seemed to pick up the bike really aggressively. It seems to be the same here, perhaps even slightly more aggressive because it's such a little bike. It's going to take me a little bit of time to get used to this. Of course, this is literally my first day on the game. The only running I have done previously is my first impressions video, which will have come out earlier today as you're watching this. And to be fair, I also played it earlier today as I'm recording this as well, so it's chronologically correct there. Oh, almost high side of the bike there. You've got to do pretty well to high side of Moto 3. I'm going to turn the traction control down actually a little bit more. Just because, to be fair, Moto 3 you don't particularly need the traction control. It just holds you back a bit. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to, because on the old games, or at least on MotoGP 22, but pretty much the last few, you've just been really aggressive on the throttle in the Moto 3 bike and it's fired out of the corner. But these new gyroscopic effects make the bike pick up a lot. Again, I'm not too sure whether I like it, but the rest of the physics do feel fairly solid, so I'm not going to let one little thing spoil it. And again, it is literally my first day playing the game, so I've still got plenty to get used to. But here we are then, starting our first flying lap, but you can see how much we've dropped behind for long. So I think we're going to struggle here in terms of pace. I've validated my first lap in free practice here, so that's a good start. The effect feels much worse on this Moto 3 because it's so light. Feels like I'm fighting a lot more. On the MotoGP I was struggling enough with it, but I could kind of get used to it. Whereas out of the slow corners here, I really am struggling with this to try and actually get the bike out the corner. You see how much it's picking up. Like, oh, and I've had a crash. Oh, there's a little crash sound as well, like they have in real life with the graphics. We've been overtaken by Filippo Farioli there. I was hoping that I might be able to get on the back of him, but it just doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. We've got a load of fuel on board, by the way. We've got 12 laps of fuel. That's ridiculous. I think I'm going to go straight on here. Just about kept it on. Obviously, I've gone off the track slightly there, but I've kept it out of the grass. The bike really, really picks up. You can probably see it in the footage. That really shows you how drastic it is. But when you get your hands on the game and you try it out, you will notice as soon as you pick up the power, the bike just picks up. I think they might have overdone it, but I guess we'll see. We'll get used to it, I'm sure, over this life cycle. Managed to stay on there, but you can hardly pick up the power. Like, I have to do it very late, which I guess maybe was the intention. Got a red sector 1, which is quite surprising, actually. I think a lot of time will come with this game when I start pushing the brakes more, because you can just trust the bike inherently more on this game. So, oh, as I say that, I've gone down, and that's probably the corner I've crashed the most at on this game so far. Did it in the MotoGP quite a few times as well, in the MotoGP class, when I was riding the Pecco Bagnaio's Ducati. So I've just got to 24th place, but that's still 4 seconds off Ortola. I'm starting to think maybe Ortola's time's glitched. I don't know, because surely there's not a field spread of 4 seconds. But Yamanaka, though, actually, is P24, so we're actually pretty close to Yamanaka, surprisingly. This lap, I've improved by about a second. Where's that going to put me? P13. So I think that actually would get us through to Q2. I mean, it probably won't last, but I think currently that would be provisionally through. So I think I'm actually going to head back to the pits now and see what Ortola's time actually is, because I think he might have a big chunk of time over the rest of the AI. Well, actually, no, he doesn't, because 2 people have just gone ahead of him. It's Moreira and Yamanaka. So I was ahead of Yamanaka, and now he's just gone back ahead of me again. Fantastic. Fantastic. And where am I? I'm down to 16th now, just from heading back to the pits. So it seems like maybe the simulated times are even worse than they've been in previous games, but that's probably going to put me in a bit of a mess then, because I cannot see myself beating Yamanaka. So I think it might be worth burning up a set of softs now, right? Going to drain the tank as well. So I've got that now then. I'm going to head onto the track again. I'm going to do a pit start though, because I'm a bit scared of their times. It seems like the simulated times are really, really fast. And I'm just going to see what we can do, because Yamanaka's right up there now, so we've got to find 3 seconds. So I don't really know if I'm just really slow and some of the AI haven't done lap times, or whether some of the AI have just done ridiculously fast ones that you can't get in here. I'm going to say, based on this very brief period here, that maybe the fuel consumption does have a decent amount of impact on the bike this year, because it does feel a bit more nimble. That could be the soft tyres, in fairness, but the bike does feel a little bit better now. So I just improved by 0.5 of a second then, up into 11th place, 5 minutes to go. I don't think I'm going to find much more time than that, to be fair. Probably over the course of the weekend I will improve, but for now I think that's probably enough. It's going to get us through. Again, of course, there is another free practice session, so we could very well get knocked out yet. But top 11 when the objective is top 15, it's pretty good. Unfortunately, we're not beating Yamanaka, but he's literally 3 seconds quicker than me, so this is just not going to happen in this session. So practice 1 is done then. Where did we actually end up? I'm not too sure. Oh dear. 28th, which is last place. 2.8 seconds off the top time. We weren't nearly last place when I ended the session. I was like P11. Well, I say I ended the session when the session ended itself. So we are last by quite a way. Seems like the AI's times are way quicker than what they can actually achieve on track, which is annoying, but at least in the race it will be fair, I guess. But right down the back with Scott Ogden. I was about to say where's Josh Watley, but I realised I think I've replaced Josh Watley, haven't I? So there you go then, that is practice 1. Not gone too well for us. We're going to have to see what we can do in practice 2. So here then for qualifying at the Malaysian Grand Prix. Now, between these sessions, I did actually go and have a look at the real objective of the season, and it's actually to beat Yamanaka on points rather than just beat him in these 2 races. I think if we beat him in these 2 races, we probably will just get put ahead of him anyway, but we're like 5 points behind him in a championship. That's the actual situation we're in. Now, in terms of this qualifying session, we are probably going to struggle quite a bit because the simulated times do seem ridiculous. I actually did do FP2, and I actually topped that session on track. I did like a 2:14, so it was much better than what I'd done in the previous session. And I was like 0.6 clear of Holgado, who's actually the championship leader at the moment. And as soon as I ended the session, they all did the exact same times they did in the previous one. So it does seem to me like it's glitched. And basically any time that I spend in the pits whatsoever, they will improve. So I think I'm going to go to track with the tyres that we've got on now. In fact, I may as well put both fresh tyres on, because even if we get through to Q2, which I feel is unlikely because I think they'll just simulate their way through anyway. So we're going to do a pit start to make sure that that doesn't happen. But basically, even if you're in the pits for like 2 seconds, like a few seconds during the session, you'll jump down. Like I was topped by over half a second, or not quite half a second actually, I think, but around about half a second. And it'd been like that for maybe 5 minutes or so, as I'd just done a couple of more laps afterwards just to try and see if I could get near that time again. And literally, as soon as I headed to the pits, I dropped down to 7th place. And then, obviously, by the end of the session, I was last. Now, I do understand that there is going to be time improvements throughout the session. They've probably tweaked it as well slightly, so it's a bit more realistic. But they're not going to improve by, like, that many seconds. So I'm hoping that we will actually be able to keep up with them in the race. But I do think we're going to probably qualify last, regardless of what I do. Because it just seems like they are way too fast when the times are simulated. So I've got myself in behind Toba. I've dropped back and let him through, just to give myself a gauge to see how good the lap time is. I mean, you can see how much I'm struggling just to try and put the power down. The bike picks up, you see, and it just forces me wide. The AI can put the power on like a lot earlier than I can. And if I try and match it, they just completely turn away from me. Looks like Toba's doing some weaving. We've just passed him around the outside into the last corner. It does seem like their weakness from the previous game on the brakes is still present. So that is a real shame, because that was a massive thing in MotoGP 22 that they were ridiculously poor on the brakes, and it seems to be carried over into MotoGP 23, unfortunately. Here we are then. Hopefully we can do a good lap here, but it's very difficult to do one. So here we are then, up towards the line. What is this lap time going to be? 15.2. So 2 tenths off of Filippo Farioli, who's currently top of the session. There's definitely some more time in the locker for me there. So here we are, up towards the line. I am about 3 tenths underneath my time. And it is going to be top of the session ahead of Filippo Farioli in second. You can see Ogden is on 2 red sectors. Fallon's on some red sectors. Fanati's on some red sectors. Via's on some red sectors as well. So the AI are on their way to improve. So it could be a Vision Track Racing 1-2 in this Q1 session. But like I said before, I just don't think it's going to matter. I think they are just going to outdo me on the simulated times. But I need to make sure I definitely don't run out of fuel. David Alonso's just done a 2:14.5, so he's a few tenths ahead of me. Fair enough, he is on a gas bike. He is a teammate of the guy that we do need to beat, of course. But it's okay for now, because we only need to be in the top 4. So, well, Ogden's now got top, so we're now down to 3rd place. So we are a little bit on the danger zone now. So unfortunately, we did get knocked out in an unfair manner once again, down in last position, 1.8 seconds off. I'm apparently a second off Ana Carrasco. It's a shame. It really is a shame, because there's nothing I can really do about this, and I imagine this is going to be something that's going to happen at other tracks too. I mean, it could just be a track-specific thing at Malaysia. I don't know. This is the first time I've gone against AI, so it could be absolutely fine at all the other tracks. But so far in every single session, as soon as the session ends, they improve by like 3 seconds. And there's like nothing you can do about it. The times are absolutely ridiculous. It's a bit of a shame. We're going to have to start at the back of the grid for this one. But at least we have got a 50% race to try and fight our way through. So without any further ado then, let's head down to the grid and get ready for our first race on MotoGP 23. So it's actually raining here down on the grid. So it's actually going to be a wet race, which is absolutely crazy, because I've not done any running in the rain whatsoever, so we've got to hop straight into this. Gavin Emmett did just say, though, that it looks like it's going to dry up and then we might have to do a pit stop. And you can see as well in the top left hand corner of the screen, you can see there is a rain cloud going to a cloud and sun. So I think this is probably going to be a bit of a tutorial in a way, just to show you how the new quick restart procedure works, or actually just how the flag to flag works. Because in Moto 3, if it starts off wet and it dries up, you keep going in the race, it just keeps going. So maybe our chance at a good result here is staying on the wet tyre. I don't know. So let's get into this one. At least we've got a long enough race to try and see the effects of the track drying up. But I really don't know what the pace is going to be like in the rain, because in the past they've been OP in the rain. So we might actually get dropped by the field, which would be a pretty lonely race.
Who will celebrate victory in the Malaysian Grand Prix? Riders have completed their warm-up lap and are lined up on the Sepang grid, ready for the off.
So Moreira on pole, then Holgado alongside him, Ortola rounding off the front row. And we're here at the back of the grid, waiting for the lights to go out here for the Malaysian Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go. And for some reason, we're not the only rider that doesn't have a wetsuit on. We're just in a regular, well, obviously everyone's got regular leathers on, but we haven't got a wetsuit underneath. But we've actually had a poor start compared to AI, even with Power Mode 3. So that does show that AI are a little bit better off the line. But we've dived into the first corner. That was risky. The frame rate's dropping a little bit here. We've got a little bit of contact in the middle of the pack. We're up to P21, so we've made a few positions up. You can see on the left-hand side of the screen, we've got our objectives here. And it's telling us that we're losing 15 points to Ryusei Yamanaka. So that's no good. We're being hit at the back. Well, I don't know what the AI want me to do. I'm already going like maximum throttle through the corner. You can see how much they've all just gained on me there. And we're going to go back up the inside on the brakes again, right behind our teammate Scott Ogden. Scott, what are you doing? Taking some weird lines there. Made it so I'd sort of back out of the throttle. But the grip they have compared to me seems pretty immense. I don't know, maybe I need to turn the traction control down a little bit. I know it's sort of wet weather, so maybe you don't want to do that. But the AI compared to me in the wet anyway seem ridiculous. The rear is starting to slide around quite a bit. Off throttle as well, which is obviously not the kind of sliding that you want at all. So it seems pretty much the same as last year's game, where the AI are ridiculous in the rain. Again, of course, this is my first day on the game, so there's definitely a part to play with that, but they do seem pretty overpowered again in these conditions. The one positive I can take, though, is that they do seem pretty good off the line, which is somewhere where they were really weak before. But that didn't actually help me. And unfortunately, I'm just dropping back. I can hardly keep the bike going. The bike is sliding out from underneath me everywhere. I'm already 5.8 seconds off the race lead. And again, it's sliding. Terrible. I couldn't even turn it into that corner. I can hardly turn it in. So we are going to, well, we're going to get destroyed here. I don't even think the pit stops are going to save me. So Moreira's fastest lap, 23.8. I've just done 26.5. I'm 9.7 seconds off the leaders already. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm actually keeping in touch with the back of the group. I actually think I'm pretty much running the same kind of lap times as Ana Carrasco in front, which is, well, I mean, it's kind of an improvement, I guess, but still not fantastic because it looks like she's dropping away as well. I've actually had a really good lap this lap. We've taken the gap down to Carrasco, and we've not even got to the last corner yet, which is usually where I gain quite a lot of time on her, so we actually might be able to beat her in this race. Here we are then, 1 minute 24.9, that's more like it. So we're still about 2 seconds off the leader's pace, but I was using a lot more Power Mode 3 on that lap. And here we go, around the outside of Ana Carrasco, so we're not into last place anymore, we're up into 27th. Our teammate Scott Ogden ahead of us. So, oh, that was a bit of muscle memory coming back in. I saw her up the inside and picked up the power more. Got to remember which game I'm playing here, guys. But if I could try and stick with her a little bit, maybe try and pass her and get away a little, I actually might have a chance at beating Scott. And to be fair, I'd take beating Scott because we're on the same bike. We're coming up towards half race distance, so I really hope it does start to dry up soon, because otherwise I am just going to be battling over 27th place with Carrasco. And here we go at the inside. I clipped the curb. We've had contact with Carrasco. Somehow we've both stayed up. But I feel like I'm going to get a social media message about that one later. I'm interested to see how that actually works. I hope there is some sort of interaction based on that little contact that we've had. But hopefully we should be able to pass her into turn 1, because generally she does brake pretty early there. Yes, she does once again. Up the inside we go. Back up into P27. Once again, Scott Ogden just ahead of us. But I don't think I'm going to be able to get onto the back of him, because I think, 1, I just don't have the pace, and 2, I'm just going to be stuck battling Carrasco every time anyway. Because I actually can't really get away from her. Unless I could pass her at the last corner and keep her behind, I guess. Or If I could pass it at the penultimate turn, that would give me a shot because I could pull away into the last corner and then into turn 1 as well, but it's just not going to happen because they're really good through the penultimate turn. They are on 120% by the way. But here we go, the inside we go of Carrasco again. Again, there's just not going to be any space. Is she going to leave me the room though? Not really, and I'm in the wrong gear. Doesn't help. She's just on a wheelie in the rain. That's awfully brave. She seems to be so much slower than the rest of AI though. Look how much we've lost to Ogden in like the last 2 laps. I'm starting to think we might have been lied to, because we're about to start lap 6, and we're going to be 2/3 race distance soon, and it's not even started to dry, it's still raining, so I think we might have been lied to with that one. I've braked, I was going to say way too late, but I think I'd actually done okay. It's just Carrasco was right in the way there. I had to roll out the throttle to not hit her, but there we go. I think we finally got her before the line, so we might actually be able to gap her into turn 1, but we're side by side. We're doing that weird leaning animation. I forgot all about that. I haven't seen that for so long. It seems to be such a Moto 3 thing. And if I can maybe just try and stretch her on this lap, maybe I could try and catch the group in front, because I feel like I am being a bit held up by her with all the battling going on. But they are just so much faster than me in some sections of the track. There's nothing I can really do to keep her behind. Yep, case in point, she just absolutely bashed me out the way. To be honest, I'm not very happy about that. And we're not going to get anything else, so we may as well just focus on Ana Carrasco. And here we go, the inside. Whoa, that was very strange from me, I must say. I was trying to sort of make sure I covered the line off. We had a bit of contact again. She's really not going to be happy. Now she's just steering into me. Don't know what she was doing there. She had the track. She had enough track. But we are miles behind the rest of the AI now. Look how far they got away. Ogden was about 3 seconds up the road, but that's more now. I can barely see him. I don't know whether the AI are just too high or whether it's just because it's the wet weather. Because in the dry, I could sort of keep with them, although I couldn't be very consistently fast. I think that was an issue in the dry too. But here we got the inside of Carrasco into the hairpin. And we're up into P6, not P6, P27. I looked at lap 6 and said position 6, but fortunately Carrasco's got the undercut again. So we are having one hell of a battle with Ana Carrasco. I would say I'm enjoying it, but it's a shame that it's literally for second to last place. But here we go, around the outside of Carrasco. Oh, I've cut the curb on the inside again. She's trying to hang it around the outside, though. That's probably not the right move. Try block her off if I can. She's trying to hang it around the outside. Come on. Up towards the line. We're 5 seconds behind Scott Ogden it is now. She's just steering into me. We're on a straight, by the way, Anna. There's plenty of space. Once again, a little bit of power mode 3. Just riding alongside her. I think I've braked too deep into turn 1 this time. Just trying to outbrake her. I might be able to cut back a little. So well, actually wasn't too bad because that was apparently personal best, so clearly it was better than what I'd done before. Another mistake on the curb. She could try and do the same thing to me on this lap. She did on lap 1 and, well, they all did on lap 1 and she did on the previous lap. You're going to ride around the outside and I'm going to squeeze her out a bit through turn 3, side by side with Ana Carrasco. Right, do I finally have her now? I think I might do. Usually did a lot of power mode 3 on this lap and it does seem to be helping. Unfortunately, I've not got her because she's now trying to run me in the back in the chicane section as well. Oh, I've got no control, so I'm just running into the side of her. She's gone back around the outside. Round the outside I go now, through Genting. Apparently that corner's called, didn't realise that. And through turn 8. We should get her into the hairpin once again, but of course she's just going to get the cutback. It's a shame because I was actually on a good lap until she just decided to stop ruining it. Tell you what I am surprised about though, is the fact that no AI have actually fallen off. How often do you get a race where no AI have a weird collision? Probably because they're so far ahead they're just simulating everything. I mean, 22 seconds off the race lead. I mean, clearly something's gone on here. It's either the wet weather or I've got the AI set too high. And I think it's a mixture of two. I might turn them down. And unfortunately we've been re-overtaken through the penultimate turn by Ana Carrasco. So this will be like the 3rd time in a row I'm going to try and pass her and beat her to the line. So there we go, into the final turn. It's like I'm actually braking too early, just trying to outbrake her because she brakes so early I'm trying to base it off her. Right, okay, that's the best we've had it so far, that we've actually solidly got her. So this could actually be the lap here. If we use Power Mode 3 for this whole lap, we might actually be able to gap Anna on this one. Tell you what, I think Scott Ogden's actually coming back towards us. I think he might have been 5 seconds ahead, but he's now 4. Maybe he was always 4, I don't know, but He does seem to be struggling. It seems like maybe he's dropping back towards us a bit. Yeah, he's now 3. He's just lost like a whole second. Okay, well, he gained some of it back, but he was 3.1, I'm sure, very briefly there. So, yeah, it seems like Scott Ogden might be struggling a little bit. They're making up like 0.5 in a corner. That's why I'm losing so much time. There's nothing I could do. Especially when I've got to try and battle Anna at literally every corner. Right, so final lap of the race. 2.1 to Scott Ogden. We might have a shot at this. But we're coming down towards the final corner now, and Anna Carrasco is only a couple of tenths behind us. But I think we are going to fend her off, which would be good. I think we are just going to run out of time to beat Scott, though. Although, having said that, into the last corner, we've had a little bit of contact with Scott. I don't think we're going to quite get into the line, though, unfortunately. I tried to pick up the power as early as possible. On the curb we go. We almost beat Scott Ogden there, but it's going to be 27th in our first race here. Well, hey, I'm not going to do much better than that because that's where my teammate was. That was a really, really tough race. I can't lie. Quite enjoyable, though, actually. I was kind of dreading 9 laps of this track, especially when I saw it was raining. I'm quite disappointed that the race didn't dry up because the indicator suggested it would dry up. The commentary said it would dry up. Even if you did a 100% race, it clearly wasn't going to dry up because it hadn't even stopped raining by halfway point, so it was never going to dry. So you can see that AI's times were very, very good if we scrolled down to where we were at the back. My times were actually quite a bit better than the people I was around, in fairness. It's just I only did it once. I'd say we lost a lot of time battling with Anna Carrasco, to be fair. She definitely did cost us, keep attacking us. That cost us on the first lap as well, to be honest, when they all attacked us. But that's just how it is sometimes, and like I said, I did enjoy the race. It's just a really, really tough one. Oh wow, so I just lost 2,200 RP, which I don't think I even really had any RP to start with, so that's not good. And let's have a look in the feed. We've got some new messages. So Tatsuki Suzuki, I've heard a lot of things going around the paddock, but these rumours don't worry me. I'll try to get in front of B-Biker at Losail just to set the record straight. I don't think you have to worry about me, mate. You were miles ahead of me. And then Scott Ogden says, the team are continuing to work hard, results are coming in, and I'm working with B-Biker to keep up with the team objectives. So Scott Ogden is pretty happy there, considering. Well, the two responses to this kind of seem offended, but I don't really see what's bad about what he said there. The team are continuing to work hard, the results are coming in, and I'm working with B-Biker to keep up the team objectives. So we're working together to keep the team objectives up. I guess because he beat me, I'll be nice to him, I guess, because I don't really see that as particularly offensive. Tatsuki Suzuki, I'm not sure why he's talking about me, because I was literally the opposite end of the field to him in this one. So let's be mean to him. Why not? So I've annoyed Tatsuki Suzuki a little bit with that one, we'll say. So you do it on purpose. Reading these things gives me more motivation. But I think that's where we will leave this episode of Career Mode. So I hope you guys have enjoyed that one. Possibly a bit of a longer video, but of course we had to do all the introduction and I wanted to talk about the physics a little bit. I know I did that in my first impressions, but when the game's new, I like to sort of tell you guys my initial thoughts, and I'm going to just keep thinking more things as well the more playtime I get. So I hope you guys did enjoy that one. I know the result was a bit poor, but I'm hoping we can bounce back at the next round of Qatar and see what we could do there. If not, we might actually have to turn the difficulty down, which, to be honest, is not the end of the world. I actually would rather do that than have the AI be too easy to beat. So that's absolutely fine by me if we do need to do that one. But like I said, I hope you guys did enjoy that one. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you all stay safe, and I shall see you in the next one.